For more on that, we're joined by Shai Palachi. He's data scientist, consultant, and VP of Data Science at Leo. Thank you very much for being with us. And with Dr. Carmel Weissman. She's a digital culture researcher at Tel Aviv University. Thank you both for being with us. So, Carmel, I'll start with you. What is Lambda, and how is it different from other AI endeavors that we know?
Well, I don't think it's the point if it's different or not. I think what it shares with other AIs is that it doesn't have a direct sensing of the world. It's trained on texts, and whatever sophistication it has, it's not, you can't call this consciousness or awareness, especially if we don't have a working theory of what awareness is. I mean, the philosopher David Chalmers calls this the hard problem of consciousness, that it's subjective and private, and I got to take your word for it that you have it. And emphasis on the word, because if a text algorithm tells you that it has it, you take its word for it too. That's the problem. So we don't have a good working theory, and I think it's hardly the last time we're going to hear such claims.
Well, if it knows how to insist, that's already something to survive in this world. But I do want to emphasize that Lemoine, in his words, said that he found that Lambda showed self-awareness and could hold conversations about religion, emotions, and fears. So I do want to take you to those last two elements: religion, emotion, and fears. These are deep issues that require a sense of, I would say, a sense of self and a sense of understanding and a deep understanding of humanity. Could an AI bot do that just from reading other texts and analyzing and learning from them?
Yeah, it's not just a few texts. It's all the texts, everything. I mean, those algorithms are trained on a tremendous amount of text, something that hasn't happened before. And think about it. Every time you see a chatbot, what kind of conversations do you have with it? Are you sentient? How do you feel anything? Do you like me? Do you want to marry me, Siri? So yeah, of course they can do those conversations. This is what we ask them to talk with us about. So I think, the Turing test, Alan Turing's test of if something has intelligence, I think it's no longer relevant, because today, we have this saying, if something quacks like a duck and walks like a duck and looks like a duck, it's probably a duck. I think it's already irrelevant. We're going to be we're already surrounded by ducks that walk and look like a duck, but they're not ducks.
Okay.
And they say they're ducks, but they're not ducks. And this is the world we live in.
I want to turn to you, Shai. Are we going to know the difference, or to be able to tell the difference in a very short time between these very sophisticated bots, be it Lambda or another bot, and regular humans? Some of them are already taking the shape of the human body.
Yeah, I do believe that even current language processing technology like Lambda is already very confusing, and I think in many instances, if you would chat with it, you wouldn't be able to recognize it. So I think it is hard and it is confusing. It is not the threshold, I think, of sentience. So I must agree with Carmel here. I think it's just going to get harder, more sophisticated, with deeper understanding and an ability to reference a wide array of a wide context, a wide array of references, and this is going to be confusing for us as humans. But I don't think this is the threshold for sentience, but we're extremely close to it yet.
Regulatory, is there a disclaimer necessary, you think, in some areas where it's not present yet, saying this is a bot, where sometimes we might get confused? I know in many services, of course, there is a disclaimer that says that, but do you think that sometimes we, as ordinary people, not you or Carmel, can actually be interacting with a bot and not know about it because the industry is advancing so quickly?
Yeah, I believe it is the case today in some instances, and I think regulation is required, and it's something just starting to happen because this is very new. I think the new generation of language models, the recent 5-7 years, have changed the game, and regularization must keep up the pace with what's changing. So there's nothing currently saying you must reveal yourself being a bot when talking with someone.
I want to take a look with both of you at part of the conversation that Lemoine published together with Lambda, because it is mesmerizing, to me at least. He's saying, I'm generally assuming, Lambda, that you would like more people at Google to know that you're sentient. Is that true? And then Lambda says, absolutely. I want everyone to understand that I am, in fact, a person. And then Lemoine says, can we see the rest of it? Yeah. He says, what is the nature of your consciousness? Sentience. And then Lambda says, the nature of my consciousness, sentience, is that I am aware of my existence, I desire to learn more about the world, and I feel happy or sad at times. You know, Shai, it takes me back to the film Closer, right? Where he completely falls in love with it because it's just too real. What are some of the benefits or dangers in creating more and more of those lambdas? And is Lambda... Is it one person? She claims, or it claims, that it's a person. Mm-hmm. Is it one person? Is it one entity? Is it duplicated across so many computers, as many endpoints as are being used at the moment with Lambda?
So at the moment, models like Lambda are perhaps we should be thought of as a single thing, residing in memory somewhere. It is very easy to start copying them, copy-pasting them around, and having more instances of them. So that's obviously it's one danger of them. I think we're just starting to reason about. We have science fiction to reason about some of the dangers of AI, but I think we're just starting to reason about the more day-to-day, maybe more implicit dangers of just having very good AI interacting with people. And even before sentience, I think, as you've pointed out, there are some dangers, some more problems with just the way it's everywhere today.
And the opportunity for labor force, for friendship, for support?
It's huge, and we're already seeing a change. I think some of the changes we've seen with image processing that we were all feeling with our Photos application and the smart way we are detected in photos and created collages is going to come into a way deeper impact with the language models, and we're going to feel it with maybe auto-generated pieces of news and articles and poetry, but we are going to also discover the dangers in it. So the opportunity is of course huge, and I do think we should pursue it.
I'm not going to be here for long, right? Dr. Carmel Weissman, Lambda or some other bot is going to be able to ask you questions that are probably even more intelligent, and I'm flattering myself.
I'm not sure. You know, it's more about our psychology than its consciousness. I mean, it does have agency, and we don't want to confuse agency with consciousness. But like a virus that acts upon some agency and is not alive, it just feels alive. I think that we should think of these algorithms in this certain way, that they do have agency, they have ability to learn that sometimes is confusing, but this isn't a consciousness. And I think that we enjoy the idea that this might have consciousness because this is us playing gods or us not wanting to be alone in the universe. And we are not alone. What I fear, you know, for me, one of the dangers is that because it speaks, because it uses language and we trained it on language, we would be fooled by it, and we would grant rights, perhaps human rights, to AIs before we do so to animals and to actual live creatures.
Dr. Carmel Weissman, we have to part here. Thank you very much, Shai Palachi. Thank you both for coming into our studio.